I was born beneath marble arches and velvet shadows, a scion, not of love, but of calculated design. The laboratory reeked of sterile ambition and perfumed failure. My creators whispered of perfection with trembling hands. I was meant to be exceptional, desirable, divine. My skin, pale purple like bruised orchid petals, shimmered beneath candlelight. The disease was grotesque. It bloated flesh and soured breath, turning grace into rot. I watched it devour my sister first, then my mother, reducing our household to a mausoleum of filth and silence. Their bodies collapsed into ruin, and I hated them for it, not for passing, but for becoming so hideous in the end. The elegance of our life dissolved into wet coughing and the stench of decay. My father did not fall ill, he did not mourn. While the disease hollowed our home, he locked himself away in the observatory, surrounded by tomes and tinctures, searching not for a cure, but for a way to preserve himself. I saw him watching us through the glass, unmoved as my sister convulsed, as my mother wept blood. He took notes, he measured suffering. Then it came for me. My skin blistered, my lungs drowned in heat. I felt myself unraveling, and I begged, not just to gods, not to family, but to anyone, to anything. I screamed for salvation with no dignity left, and something heard me. It did not comfort, it demanded. I gave it my father. I dragged him from his sanctuary and laid him upon the altar of my survival. His blood spilled, and I watched, not with detachment, but with hunger. The pact was sealed. My body was restored. My soul was claimed. One of my eyes remains my own. The other is his. It is no mere symbol, but a living aperture through which he gazes, silent, patient, and vast. The patron speaks but seldom, for words are beneath him. His presence is felt in the marrow, in the quiet between incantations, in the tremble that precedes power. I do not serve, I align. When I reach into the arcane, he watches. When I falter, he judges. I am not his thrall, nor his equal. I am the blade he has chosen to sharpen, again and again, until the edge sings. We operate beneath the seal of the Voxirye Guild, though they name it collaboration. I do not. Their sanctified halls and carved archives serve as staging grounds for pursuits they dare not undertake alone. They tolerate me. Perhaps they fear me. Perhaps they understand that I seek what they cannot grasp, the architecture of ruin, the truths that fracture comprehension. My companions, if such a word bears meaning, are as altered as I. Charlie flickers betwixt man and monster, his soul stitched to Bovicaros when flesh failed him. He walks with borrowed wrath, never fully his own. Lehorn is different. She moves like tide water, calm, relentless, lethal. She does not speak of trust or seek loyalty. I value that more than words. In her, I see a mirror, the willingness to eliminate precisely, to hunt delicately, to endure it all. The guild called it Site 13. I called it the Wound, a cave mouth split into the hillside, rimmed with basalt that shimmered faintly in patterns no light source could explain. The stone was wrong, too smooth in places, too porous in others, as if grown rather than formed. No birds nested there, no insects stirred. The air tasted of copper and static. We descended in silence, boots brushing dust from ledges that shifted subtly when unobserved. The walls were not inert. They pulsed, not visibly, not audibly, but in the mind. A rhythm that did not match any heartbeat. I recorded everything. Lehorn watched the shadows. Charlie pressed his hands to his ears and began to apologize. Not to us, not to himself. He whispered names, dozens of them, and I recognized every one. The cave had found him. It spoke in the voices of those he had slain in his rage. The deeper we went, the less the equipment mattered. Lights failed, maps warped, time became suggestion. Space folded in ways that made distance irrelevant. The wound did not go down. It went elsewhere. We passed beyond stone. The walls became smooth, not polished but grown, like the interior of a shell too vast to belong to any living thing. The air thickened. It pressed against the skin. Lehorn paused. Her blade was drawn, but she did not raise it. Charlie wept without sound. I kept walking. The floor beneath us was not flat. It curved gently, as if we walked along the inside of a sphere. There were no echoes. Our footsteps vanished as soon as they landed. Then passage ended without warning. One moment we walked, the next we stood within a chamber too large to measure, its ceiling lost in haze, its walls curved and breathing. At the center stood a structure, neither altar nor machine, but something between. It pulsed with slow light, the color of bruises. Symbols moved across its surface, rearranging themselves when looked at directly. Charlie fell to his knees. Lehorn did not move. I approached. The air was thick with recognition. It knew me. Not my name, not my face, but the shape of my thoughts. I reached out, and it did not resist. The structure had opened. It had shown us its heart. And it was not empty.